Hello everyone, this is Chris with Fischer Workshops, and before we jump into this tutorial, I'd like to share with you briefly what makes this particular project so unique. One of the first things I noticed while living in Taiwan was that on every window of every house on the island there were these protective bars on them. Evidently, due to the dense population of Taiwan, these bars help provide added protection for people's homes. But I would imagine that having bars on all of your windows would make your home feel more like a prison than home sweet home. So it makes sense that people would want to add a little decor to these protective bars in order to warm their rather cold appearance. There are literally thousands of different styles of window bar decor that can be seen all over Taiwan, almost transforming everyone's windows into an endless urban art gallery. Some are a little old and outdated, and others are very modern and hip. But in my opinion, the mix of the two adds to the story and history of this unique feature of Asia's urban culture. So for this leather project, I've decided to use a couple of window bar decor designs to enhance and add beauty to this simple and popular leather tray design. If you do an image search online, you're sure to find a large variety of leather tray ideas. But what I really love about this design is the way the window bar stitch art really makes it stand out, and how the two tones of leather really complement and add detail to the tray. Instead of stitching the corners of the tray together, I have set buttons in each corner with two purposes in mind. One, I like the way it looks, and two, because it can be opened up and flattened for ease of storage. So if you like this tutorial, do me a favor and please click on the like button below, as well as share my videos on your social media platforms so that Fischer Workshops can continue to bring the art of leathercraft to new audiences. To get my latest video releases, make sure that you subscribe to Fischer Workshops YouTube channel, and if you'd like to receive notifications, please click on that little bell next to the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. First, cut out an 11 by 11 centimeter leather square. I'm using 5-ounce thick vegetable tan leather for this project. To round the corners, use a small coin to mark and cut. Sand any rough edges with a piece of sandpaper or a sanding stick. Mark a stitching line along the edges of the square with a stitching groover. Tape a printed template onto the leather piece. You can download this template on my website, or you can make one of your own. Punch stitching holes along the template design. Bevel the front and back edges of the leather piece with an edger. Apply a little water or edge gum to the edges and burnish with a wood slicker. To fix the thread to the blunt needles, first pass the thread through the needle's eye. Second, wrap the excess thread around the needle once. Third, then pierce the excess thread with the needle and pull it through onto the main thread. Lastly, pull the thread tight until it locks into place at the needle's eye. When you're finished, each end of the thread should have a blunt needle fixed to it. Stitch all along the decorative area on the leather piece. When you run out of thread, just tie it off on the back of the leather and cut off any excess thread. When you're finished stitching, here's how it should look. I like to pat down the stitches with a mallet to flatten and smooth them out. Cut the leather for the tray at 21.6 by 21.6 centimeters and repeat the same process to round the corners. Punch holes where your buttons will go for each of the corners. To set the buttons, you can use a button press or a simple button setter. Bevel along all the edges, both front and back, of this piece and burnish with a slicker. I will attach the decorative piece to the rough side of the larger leather piece with contact cement. Punch stitching holes along the edges of the decorative piece and stitch together. I'm going to add a logo tag to the interior of my tray. I'm using 2 harness needles to help me guide the logo tag towards the exact spot I want it to adhere. Stitch each corner and tie off. Apply a little mink oil to the leather's exterior and buff off any excess with a rag. Pinch the corners and button together each end. If the leather you're using is extra stiff, you may need to work the corners a minute for better results. Finished.